ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be the end of the year book tag for 2023. I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet, but I will just say before getting into it, it's absolute madness that I'm already filming end of year content for 2023. But regardless, end of the year book tag for 2023, let's just go ahead and get into it. Question number one is, are there any books that you started this year and need to finish? Yes. I looked at my story graph for this one. Normally I'm pretty good about not abandoning books that I want to read. If I haven't finished a book, I usually DNF it, and either it's not the right time or I just am DNFing it for good. There's not a lot of books that I just kind of let slip by the wayside accidentally, but I do have one, and that is Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. This one I picked up at the very end of October. I really do want to finish it before the end of the year. I think I just, got into craziness of just transitioning into a new season, and this one feels very much like an August, September-y sort of book to me. However, I did really enjoy it, and I actually saw this on a bookstagrammer that I follow, like their favorite books of the year. So I do want to finish Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. This one is a very strange sort of horror story about a young girl whose teacher kidnaps her, and we don't know why, and we don't know why that she's being held in the basement of her teacher. So yeah, that one I started in October. I am going to try and pick it up within the next week or so. As I'm filming this, it is the 10th, so I'd like to finish it before the end of 2023. However, if I start it, I think I was about 20% of the way in the audiobook. If I started it and don't remember like where I am or need more context, I'll just go ahead and restart it next spooky season. The other book that I'm currently reading and would like to finish before the end of 2023, Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I'm rereading this series before I reread Crescent City 1 and 2 in January, in preparations for Crescent City 3 that comes out at the end of January. So ideally I'd be able to finish this book, Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash, before January. We'll keep it simple. I want to finish this one before the end of December, and then the other two, hopefully I can read all 4 of those Sarah J. Maas books that I wanted to read before House of Flame and Shadow. That comes out at the end of January though, so I should be able to at least finish this one by then. Question number 2 makes me think I should have filmed this a whole lot earlier in the year, maybe at the beginning of November, but question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year with? For me personally, no. I'm not like picking up any books, like I'm not trying to find that sort of book at the moment, at least in what I have left of 2023. If anyone is looking for a book that I think is just absolute perfect December, January, wintry vibes, I cannot recommend the His Dark Materials series enough, especially The Golden Compass or Northern Lights. Both of those I feel like are stories that I love revisiting this time of year. I either do my reread of this like right after Christmas, like kind of in that strange limbo between Christmas and New Year's, and like, everyone kind of has off work or is taking off of work, hanging out with people. Perfect time to dive into an absolutely wonderful fantasy series where not only is it a really nice, cozy, wintry read, but at least for me, whenever I reread this series, the first time I read it, I was in 6th or 7th grade. Every single time I reread this series, I just come away with new takeaways and new appreciations for this work. So yeah, I personally am not like at the moment looking for any books to really transition myself into a new season, because again, I think my Massiverse reread is taking priority for that. But if anyone else is looking for a book that really transitions from just autumnal vibes to wintry vibes in a really wonderful way, can't recommend this series enough. This is my beautiful, beautiful bind up. But again, the first book in the series, Northern Lights or The Golden Compass. It has multiple different titles, but absolutely love the series. Perfect winter vibes. Question number 3 is there a new release that you are still waiting for? Not that has yet to come out. There are new releases that I want to read that I am still waiting on library holds. There are a lot of new releases that I have wanted to read, wanted to pick up, and just haven't yet. Like, for example, Murtaugh by Christopher Paolini. I think I am going to try and read that this month as well. That's one that I've been waiting for such a long time for. It came out in November and I still haven't picked it up, but there aren't any new releases that I'm still waiting for in terms of waiting for them to come out in the month of December, but I am still actively waiting on a bunch of holds from the library from new releases that I haven't read yet, as well as there's some new releases that came out, especially if it came out in November this year. I wasn't reading last month, so there are plenty of releases that I'm sure that I do still need to pick up. Murtaugh off the top of my head, the third book in a Cruel and Fated Light series by Ashley Shuttleworth. That's another one that came out in November that I'm dying to read. So those are my top two at the moment. Question number 5, is there a book that could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? And for this one, if we're ignoring all of my rereads and books that I already know that I rated highly and I'm just rereading, I have some books that I think could make it if I mean, they're both huge, so I don't know if I'm going to fit them in 2023, but if I did, I have a feeling they could have the chance to make it into my top 10 of 2023. So these are two books that I have checked out from the library and I've heard the most good things about them. So I'm guessing that of all the books on my physical TBR that I still have to read before 2023 is up, or just ones that I want to get to reading soon, I have a feeling that these two are the ones that I'd be most likely to rate 5 stars. First one is Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. I just hear such great things about this horror author. Haven't picked up anything by him, which is a crime, honestly, because I keep reading synopsises of his work and I get very excited for them. But this is small town horror, so if I pick this up by the end of 2023, I have a feeling I'll really love it. And likewise for The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. I've heard this is a really cool dragon-centric fantasy. The blurb on the back says this is part Indiana Jones, part Pirates of the Caribbean, and part Mistborn. Maybe a very unpopular opinion, I did not like Mistborn. I read the first book in that series and I didn't care for it, but the other two are very, very intriguing. So if I manage to pick this up before the end of the year, I think I could really love it as well. So these are potential ones where I might try and read the next week or so of this year that I think are most likely to have the potential to maybe last minute squeeze on my best books of the year list. And then last but not least, have you already started making reading plans for 2024? And I absolutely have. I've already started, at least in the sense of looking at new releases. A couple of years ago, I did like new release book videos where I had a video dedicated to books that came out every specific month. I stopped doing that this year. It's a lot of work for me to research all of that, put together like that content. I'd like to try and do it again this year, so I am looking for January 2024 releases to talk about those in an upcoming video. So in terms of that, I'm not necessarily going to be reading them in January, but just I'm getting very excited looking at all of the new books that are coming out next year. In addition, I've mentioned it multiple times in this video, but rereading the rest of the Mossiverse, ideally before the next book comes out. Sarah J. Maas is an author where if I don't pick up House of Flame and Shadow like right when it comes out, I'm gonna get spoiled unless I just like shut down my internet and just like completely delete all forms of social media, even like social media that isn't book focused. Even just my regular social media for Sarah J. Maas books is not safe. So yeah, 2024, that's like top of my TBR for January. And I don't know, I'm sure there are others. January usually I reserve for either if there are new releases, which I actually think the third book in the Atlas 6 series comes out in January. So yeah, those are gonna be my two priorities. The Atlas Complex and House of Flame and Shadow are going to be my two priorities for January. And then January, usually I watch a lot of people's best of lists and add those, prioritize those to try try and start my reading off well. But yeah, those are my January reading plans so far, and that's gonna be the end of this book tag. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what was like your favorite book that you read in November, and what is the one book that you're really looking forward to picking up in January of next year. Subscribe to my channel for all of the cozy gaming and bookish content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!